The storm affecting the race for the White House tonight. 36 days to go before the election. Vice President Harris flying back to Washington, speaking to governors and FEMA officials from Air Force 2. She then went to FEMA headquarters today. Authorities in North Carolina said to wait before coming down because of the unfolding emergency there. Meanwhile, former President Trump traveling to Georgia in the storm zone, and his claim tonight about President Biden and the governor of Georgia. The governor said otherwise, and President Biden just moments ago furious, saying former President Trump is lying. Rachel Scott from Georgia tonight.
Tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris at FEMA headquarters in Washington, D.C., briefed on the deadly storm that gutted the southeast.
To everyone who has been impacted by this storm, and to all of those of you who are rightly feeling overwhelmed by the destruction and the loss, our nation is with you. And President Biden and I, and all of the folks behind me, are with you.
Harris cutting her campaign schedule short this weekend, flying back to Washington, her team releasing this image. The vice president on Air Force 2 after speaking with the head of FEMA. She also has spoken with the governors of battered Georgia and North Carolina. North Carolina officials asking Harris and President Biden not to visit just yet. The security challenge would be too great for the struggling state. Earlier today, former President Donald Trump traveling to Georgia, meeting with local officials in devastated Valdosta.
Throughout the region, our hearts are with you.
In Georgia, a crucial battleground, Trump repeatedly falsely stating that the state's Republican governor, Brian Kemp, has not been able to reach President Biden.
The governor's doing a very good job. He's having a hard time getting the president on the phone. I guess they're not being responsive. The federal government is not being responsive.
But earlier this morning, the Republican governor said Biden actually did call him over the weekend and offered his full support.
I just spoke. The president just called me yesterday afternoon. I missed him and called him right back. And he just said, hey, what do you need? And I told him, you know, we got what we need. We'll work through the federal process. He offered that if there's other things we need, just to call him directly, which I appreciate that.
Tonight at the White House, President Biden furious, calling Trump's claim irresponsible.
Let me get this straight. He's lying. And the governor told him he was lying. The governor told me he was lying. I've spoken to the governor, spending time with him, and he told me he's lying. I don't know why he does this. And the reason I get so angry about it, I don't care about what he says about me, but I care what he communicates to the people that are in need. He implies that we're not doing everything possible. We are. We are.
President Biden a short time ago in the Oval Office. Rachel Scott live there in Georgia. And of course, Rachel, we're thinking about all the families there in Georgia as well. And even though the storm is now affecting these campaigns, obviously, all eyes tomorrow night will also be on the vice presidential debate. We're going to carry it tomorrow night here on ABC Live. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz against Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
Exactly, David. And both of those vice presidential candidates have been hunkered down doing formal debate prep, including mock debates. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz told Vice President Kamala Harris during his vetting process that he was a bad debater. So the Harris campaign really trying to lower expectations. We're told that Secretary Pete Buttigieg has been standing in during those mock debates, playing the role of Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. And Vance has been doing mock debates as well. Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer playing the role of Walz. David.
And the fact that you're standing in a storm zone covering it all, Rachel, really speaks volumes about this whole moment that we're in. Rachel Scott, our thanks to you as well. And as I mentioned, be sure to join us. Live coverage of the debate right here on ABC tomorrow night. Our special will start at 8 p.m. with the whole team, and then the vice presidential debate at 9 p.m. Again, the vice presidential debate hosted by CBS, Governor Tim Walz, Senator J.D. Vance. You can watch the debate right here live, 9 p.m. here on ABC.